Yeah, so I think we've actually officially reached the age of breakthroughs. So every single episode at this point is like, holy crap, this new thing has happened, and we just have to talk about this mind blowing new thing that's going to change the world. Well, guess what we have this week? A mind blowing new thing that's going to change the world, and it is text to songs.
The future of music.
The future of music. The future of music.
The future of music.
The future of music.
The Future of Music podcast.
Hey there, welcome to you and to y'all, my friends, to the Future of Music podcast. I did not even get ready today. I'm not gonna lie to you; these are my gym clothes, and it's 3 p.m. So I didn't put in any effort. So hopefully you're only listening and not noticing that my hair is in a hat. But anyway, you know this is the place you come where we show you how to survive and thrive in the future of music, not alongside, but in it. All right. That's what we do. And I am here. My name is Ryan Withrow, one of your hosts. My other wonderful colleague is with me today, Jonathan Boyd, my friend. You actually stand apart from the wall today. You chose the right shirt. Good work on your part. I appreciate that, man. And we've already been nerding out on today's conversation. I think there was a point where we were talking and realized that like we weren't recording the podcast and we had to be like, whoa, just stop. Like we need to save this for the podcast because it's that good and we have to stop talking about it now. We have to bring this to the content. So what is that? What should they get excited about? What are we doing?
Yeah, so I think we've actually officially reached the age of breakthroughs. So every single episode at this point is like, holy crap, this new thing has happened, and we just have to talk about this mind blowing new thing that's going to change the world. Well, guess what we have this week? A mind blowing new thing that's going to change the world, and it is text to songs. Literally, you can type in a description, literally, like, I want a song that's a country song, that's, whatever, and it will actually give you a song. It's completely mind blowing. So we'll dive into that here in a second.
Perfect. We will dive in, but first I have to remind you to click like, subscribe, and click the alert so you're alerted at every episode. And I promise I'll take a shower next time, so don't feel like that should stop you. But also follow us on your favorite podcast platform, as many of you have. Thank you so much for the lovely words and the reviews. We appreciate it. So let's bring something big to thank you. So we're talking today, man, about something called SUNO AI. And it brings it full circle because who introduced us to Suno? Brock Douglas, I think it was our first guest on the podcast. Mm-hmm. I think every time we end up talking to Sir Brock Douglas, it's always like, oh, there's another thing. There's a new thing. What the heck? How do you even keep up on it? It's just flying by me at all times, but Brock's the man. And I remember it was just this little light conversation. He was like, have you tried Suno? You just type in some and it creates a song. And I looked into the company. I looked into the platform. I've tested it out. We're going to be listening to it, but we're going to be talking about what this means for everything that we've always talked about too. But Suno themselves, when you ask them, like, what are you? What do you do? Your text to song, their actual vision and their mission is one of the most wonderful things that aligns with this podcast so much that I just love dearly. And it is, we are a research-driven AI company. Our mission is to redefine how people interact with music by doing what? Removing the barriers to creating beautiful songs. And our model enables you to bring the captivating music from your imagination to life. And that's what we've been talking about forever. I mean, you and I are just like, it's old school trained musicians. And we always come to this podcast every single week going, man, I just wish more people could play music and there weren't as many barriers in the process for them. And I just want people to be able to create and have fun and really explore the world without these barriers. Here they are talking about it. So what does it mean? What is SUNO AI? So, it's something very simple, and I'll actually bring it up for you to see how we were playing around with it as well. But it's essentially just a very simple site that you go into and you can see at the bottom. And for those of you listening, at the bottom is just a very short text bar. You just can type in some text. And, the example they give you is a country song about Thanksgiving. Because what do you know is it's close, Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And you just kind of type in some details of what you're looking for. And literally, man, it took 1.5 minutes for it to produce results on all of my tests. And we're not just talking like, hey, here's a drum part or like here's some piano or something. No, it is a full composition. I believe they're anywhere from a minute to a minute and a half right now. We're talking lyrics. So it's writing the lyrics, vocals, guitar, bass, drums, everything that you could possibly imagine. And it's just as simple as typing it in and saying create. They give you multiple versions for you to check out that you could play and save. And mind you, this is all, John, just in like beta testing right
Mm-hmm.
now. So it's just full beta test. So, I wanted to test it out before we really started learning it and talking about it. And when you and I were chatting, you mentioned something to me. You said, before I had any calls today, I was painting my terrace. And
Yep.
for some reason, I decided, you know what? That's a great country song. So I typed in, this is the exact parameter I used: country song about painting my terrace before my morning work calls. And I got to tell you, John, I feel like I just turned on country radio. Let's take a listen to the 1 minute Painting My Terrace Before My Morning Work Calls song, created by SUNO AI. And it's about a minute long. So here we go. Check it.
Sunshine pouring down on this old town. Dew on the grass, it's a brand new day to be found. Yeah. Grabbing my paintbrush, my trusty old hat, got a can of blue. Gonna paint my terrace like that.
Wait for that chorus.
I'm painting my terrace before the word calls, sipping on some sweet tea as the morning sky falls. With a brush in my hand, I'm feeling so free as I brush on the colors. It's just my kind of therapy. Painting my terrace, living life my way, catching the sunrise, starting the day. Painting my terrace with a heart full of glee. Oh, it's the little things that make life so sweet, oh, sweet, oh.
I mean, that is just insane to me. I
It is
know
insane.
a lot of people. So a lot of people at first, you're probably, if you heard that separately, you'd be like, it's got some glitches, right? There's like a little, almost like a crescendo that comes in with the guitar strumming, right? Obviously, I listen to that because I'm a guitarist. But dude, for this being a beta, for them, like they just started releasing it and testing it, for it to take a minute and a half, and for you to sit back and realize what you just listened to was 100% computer generated and AI generated in under 2 minutes, and it sounds like easily a hit on the radio
Yeah.
that you would be listening to.
You could literally turn on the radio and hear that right now, and you wouldn't even notice. And think about what it takes to go into making something like that, like a hit country song. You know, countless decades of experience, all the instrumentation, all the recording, all the mixing, all the mastering, all the engineering, all the stuff to produce this one hit, right? And you just basically typed in one sentence in 2 minutes, you got a hit. It's
Yeah,
insane.
it's absolutely insane, even from like a musical standpoint. When you're listening to that chorus, even at the end, it's like, you know what? Let's have some like really leading chords going into like a resolving chord at the end that brings you in and really feels complete. Like it thinks of it all. And I was quite shocked. I was expecting, I'm not going to lie to you, I was expecting some comical results here from what I typed in. I mean, I typed in country song about painting my terrace before my morning work calls, and I was just like, this will be funny. This will be good. And then I listened to it and I was like, man, like this is way better than any attempt I could ever make at a country song. And it's completely AI generated. So it is completely amazing to me that we're at this point. So you've heard it, John. You're going to be playing it the next time you are painting your terrace
Yep.
before your morning work calls. But let's get into it, man. Like, what does this mean? Like, we've talked about this forever, but what does this speak to you for music generation and creation, and what does this do for music in general for us?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much to unpack here, but some of the first things that are coming to mind is when you need some music for something. So, for example, we create videos, we need like an intro music or outro music, or maybe even just some background music. Maybe even for a podcast, you can use it. Or one of the things that came to mind while we're talking about this is you can literally just start a free YouTube channel, go use Suno AI, and come up with songs and just be a virtual artist. Um, Download. I mean, you can literally upload a new song a day, and boom, you have a channel, you have a band, and it will take you 2 minutes per day to do that. That is insane. So, I think the implications of this in general. I mean, we're going to touch on a few of them here, but it's just so mind blowing. It's so big. It's such a big change that I'm almost at a loss for words because it's just so big. There's so much that's going to change with this. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I would also say that as a musician that has far too many files in his DAW labeled idea 2955.34 that I never touch again because I maybe have written an intro, a verse, and a chorus, but I just don't know what the heck to do for a bridge. Well, this just
Mm.
completely changes the game for me because even that song, I hear that song and I'm like, man, I kind of want to figure that out. Like it gives me inspiration to be like, okay, let me figure out those chord progressions on the guitar. Let me try to see if I could get a decent recording of this and see what we could do with it. But even as simple as idea generation for actual musicians is such a big thing. I mean, instrumentation alone, but when you think about the lyrics, I mean, it's painting the terrace, man. It's painting the terrace is all I gave it, and it's giving me lines like paint my terrace, living life my way, catching the sunrise, starting the day. Paint my terrace with a heart full of glee. Oh, it's the little things that make life so sweet. Like that is, that's
That's
quintessential
a Temptation
country
song right
music.
there.
Yeah.
We can bring them back.
I know, quintessential country music. And again, I thought it was going to be like kind of like laughable, but it's laughable more in the eyes of I'm amazed at how easy that was and how good it sounds. And for me, I would personally use it to continue with the creative side when I'm feeling like I'm in a lull or writer's block or I can't figure something out. I can easily come to something like this and say, hey, I have a song in X key. Here's the lyrics that I have so far. I don't have a bridge. Write me a bridge for it. And to have it give me two ideas instantly within 2 minutes that I could just kind of
Mhm.
run with and be inspired by, let alone people that don't know how to create music, but have these, I don't know, poetic ideas or thoughts that come into their mind. And they're like, man, if I can only hear like that thought in a song and really just put it to something, it takes a minute and a half.
That's
That's
a good idea.
all it took. And it's only up from here. So for me, when I see that a company like Suno is in beta testing, and this is where they're at in beta testing, that tells me through my knowledge of AI portals and everything that it's in learning phase still.
Mhm.
And it's going to continue to learn. So there's going to be a point at which you're not able to tell as a guitarist that the guitar sounds like it's crescendoing in a little too much and it'll get better. But then even further, you'll get 3-minute songs, 4-minute songs. You'll be able to combine pieces of songs with everything. The possibilities of all of this, with this being the start, are almost overwhelming to
It is.
me in a good way, in a completely good way. But those are my thoughts. There you go. I have no question for you. I'm just going to throw it back.
Good, good. Actually, this brings up something that I've thought about for a long time, many, many years. Actually, don't think I've ever asked anybody about this. But music, in general, bands for the last several decades, a large part of instrumentation for the last 200, 300 years or so has been the instruments that we already know. Not necessarily guitar, but more recently guitar. But think about just popular songs. They always have somebody singing. Um, in general, the instruments, somebody singing, somebody playing drums, somebody playing guitar, somebody playing bass, maybe somebody playing keyboard. Those are specific instruments that are used to create millions and billions of songs over who knows, like the last however many decades. But I think this is actually going to start changing what the idea in general of songs sound like to us. And what I mean is, I always wondered, well, why does every band have a guitar player and a bass player? And why is that? Well, part of it, I think, is because of the frequency ranges, like you have a bass and you have
Mhm.
the percussion part, but there's so many other types of sounds and types of things that can go into the structure of a song. And the structure of a song is what makes us want to listen to it. It's like a movie, right? An oral movie. So I can imagine, once this AI starts kind of thinking more on its own, that it's going to start coming up with things that aren't based on instruments that are in popular songs now. It's just going to be some weird sounds that actually sound really dang good, but we don't really know what it is. But it's like this new type of song, just a new thing. And I don't know. I think that's going to start popping up. Here's another prediction. We'll see if it comes true. Probably tomorrow by 1 p.m.
Today, 20 minutes.
Hey.
But
It's here. Here
yeah,
it is.
yeah, here it is. Yeah, all right, next podcast. But it goes even further than this, by the way, for those wondering and curious. First of all, this is free in beta version. All you have to do is sign up. So we'll put a link for you to sign up in the show notes so that you could go play around. They give you a bunch of credits to have fun and go for it. But it goes even further. We're talking all about full band things.
Mhm.
We're talking about vocalist, guitar, everything. I was able to punch in instrumental, X, Y, and Z, and what I wanted in an instrumental track, and no vocals. It just delivered. So what does this tell me about guitar playing or somebody doing an actual instrument and wanting to do improv and everything? We have any backing track we could ever imagine that is not existent. Like it's not there right now. And maybe you're somebody that sat down for the past 5 years and has done tons of backing tracks and improv, and you're just kind of bored with the same status quo.
Yep.
And you kind of want to dabble into creating some with AI and playing with it. I was able to go in and give it its biggest challenge and say, hey, I want an instrumental song in the style of Dream Theater. And you heard it, John. It produced this odd, complicated meter work where it's changing meter every other measure, very Dream Theater. And it was in the exact key I told it to play it in. And it was perfect. It was literally perfect. I would imagine something like that on the next Dream Theater album. And that goes to show you that it's not just restricted to full songs and popular music. You can really just have at it. And I've only tested, maybe 10 words max. I can't even imagine if you put in there 2 sentences, 4 sentences of what you're looking for, the amount of detail and clarity you'll give it to produce something. But you should definitely give it a shot. John, I guess my only question for you, just because I want people to immediately check it out and go in and play. So again, the link will be in the show notes. Make sure you go down there. But the only big question I have for you before we really resolve this and go play on our own with these
Was that fun?
is what should they be looking for? Should they be doing? So let's say I'm somebody listening and I'm like, I'll give it a shot. What do you want them to try out? What do you want them to get from this?
Well, I think it really depends on, where are you at? Do you play an instrument? Are you somewhere in your journey and you do play an instrument, or you are, up against a particular challenge or something? I mean, first of all, just think of whatever comes to mind. Try to make up a song. Like, here's a hillbilly sitting on his porch playing a bluegrass banjo song about tin cans. Just write something silly in there and see what happens. I think once you kind of grease the gears, so to speak, and you kind of see how it works, you can start getting really creative with it, and then you can start using it as an application. So Ryan, like you said, I think backing tracks would be an amazing. That's exactly what I'm going to do with it. Backing tracks to, like, maybe I'm in a particular mood, or I want to hear a particular mood. But a problem with us guitar players that we have is, like you said, you play with some tracks, you kind of get you get all of your you say what you have to say, and you kind of get bored with it, right? But certain times I have trouble finding a particular mood maybe that I want to play in, and I don't really know how to describe it exactly, because I can't find what it is on YouTube or something that already exists. But with this, I can describe exactly what I want to hear, and then it'll create something exactly like that. So, I mean, it's kind of a miracle machine in that sense, to match what you want to hear at the time to play along with as a practice tool.
Yeah, and just like that, man, I typed in a bluegrass song about tin cans. I did it. I
Let's hear it.
did it. Well, it's still composing. It's got
All
another tune,
right.
but the lyrics are in front of me. Okay, the lyrics are in front of me, and it's tin cans and twangy strings. The melody starts to ring in the heart of the mountains where the bluegrass sings. I mean, come on,
Man,
come
man.
on. This is just ridiculous, and it will produce it. So at the end of this screen, I'll play bluegrass song about tin cans for everybody as well. This is fun. I mean, that's all I got to say. Like, I'm glad we do the podcast because I get to like play with this thing and have a good time. And you should see, as again, a musician that has many guitars around me and records all the time, actual music. I'm actually having like a blast just typing in this stuff and seeing what it comes up with. So even more reason for you to try it. And I got to hit up Suno. We got to get them on here
Yeah.
because it would be just such a joy to have them talk through the process and what they're looking to do. So in the meantime, do a couple things for us. Make sure you like, you subscribe, and you click the alerts. I have to say that twice. And then outside of that, click the link for Suno. Sign up for a free account and have fun. And lastly, upload them. comment them in here and share them. I want to see what everybody's coming up with and share those. I'll also share mine in the comments for everybody to take a listen to and dive into. And then, John, you'll have to do the same. All right. Agree? Thumbs up?
We'll do it.
I got a thumbs up visually. We're good. And yeah, just have a blast. And thank you for being here, John. And I will spend the next week in SUNO. I'll be there. So if you need me, that's where I'm at, everybody. But in any event, thanks for being here at the Future of Music podcast. We will see you all soon, and we appreciate you more than you'll ever know.
Sitting on my porch, with banjo in my hand, strumming and picking with my country music band. People passing by, they just don't understand the sweet sound of the tin cans. It's a sight to command. See you. Strange, the melody starts to ring in the heart of the mountains where the bluegrass sings. We're dancing and we're clapping, catching everyone's attention. Love the joy the tin cans bring in this old bluegrass convention. Tin cans and twang strings, the melody starts to ring in the heart of the mountains where the bluegrass sings. We're dancing and we're clapping, catching everyone's attention. Of the joy the tin cans bring in this old bluegrass convention.